Alrighty, what's going on guys, Landlord22, welcome back to another video, where today I'm going to be going through another update video on the Transit map itself. So in the last video I really didn't have too much other than like terrain and stuff to look at, but I have however completed a couple of areas, such as the tunnel, which isn't all the way complete just because it needs these rooms on the sides fleshed out, but the main tunnel itself has been completed. And I'll just kind of go around the map and see what all I've done, just in case I forget to say what all I've done just so far. So diner hasn't really changed too much, just added terrain and stuff like that all around here. And then as you can see, this was not in the video, but I did complete all the pylons. So this is the design I kind of came up with. I just looked at real life pictures of pylons, and I also looked at the map pylons that are in the map, and I'd kind of based my design off that. It looks pretty good. I think I went pretty good with the detail. So, and then as we go over here, I did, however, add all the pylons to its actual place over here, and then I also added the lake and the little forest that's right behind the farmhouse. So, and again, as I've said in all the other videos, this is not going to be the only version of this map that I'm going to make. I'm going to make the actual version, so instead of all of this being water, it'll be replaced with lava. So just keep that in mind. And then as we go over here, the only thing I have not done yet is place the quote-unquote cornfield back here, which is probably going to take a little bit of time just because I can't world edit or anything like that. Blocks like that, just because their geography is a little bit different than regular blocks. So, but as we move over here, you can see, however, I did go ahead and place all of this and made the corn maze, as well as the build up to Noct over here. So all of this was placed by hand, so it's definitely not like a one-on-one like straight up circle, but it's close enough to a circle just because it's hard to kind of look at it because the tall grass places differently with each place, so it kind of looks like it's a little off-centered. So it doesn't look like definitely like a circle, but it has the similar shape. So, and I feel like that's good enough just for this. So, and I have the general shape where it has the 4 little areas you can go in on the outer circles, and then you can go in under here, under the pylon, and this is usually where the nav card table is going to be. So I went ahead and did that. And then if we go over here, I went ahead and placed, and I've kind of fleshed out and Noct since my last video. I don't know if I posted on the channel, but I definitely did post on my TikTok, which you all should go ahead and go like and follow. I had Noct already placed, but I just didn't have everything done so far. But I did went ahead and fleshed out all these rooms. The only thing is with this version of Noct is it's a little wider in some areas, like over here. The doors should be kind of over in this general area, but I kind of had a compromise, and then the mystery box would be over here. So, and this should kind of come over here a little bit, but again, I kind of had to make do with what I had, and I really didn't want to restart from scratch, and I think this looks pretty accurate enough. So, and then over here, this looks pretty good. This is where usually the clock, you can find the car 98 scoped in there. And then top of the stairs, this is a little wider than it usually is in the game, but I digress. And then out here, nothing really except for this, which I kind of wanted to flesh out a little bit more and extend, but given that the barrier right next to it is pretty close, I figure I just keep it the same length as it is right now. So nothing really too different about that. I just went ahead and finished it. So it's kind of similar to the one I've posted on my channel before with Noct, but just a little less accurate. And then if we go over here to Power Station, I went ahead and placed all the terrain. I placed the what looks to be, I think they are train fuel stations, fuel pumps, because there's like containers in here. So I feel like that's like a fuel pump or fuel station. And then I went ahead and put the terrain on top. I'm gonna have to smooth this out because the hill behind here isn't as high as it is in game over here. So I'm just gonna have to smooth it out and make it just a little bit lower to the ground. And then I'll be making the little train track that goes all the way from over here. Then it goes all the way through this little area right here. And then does a hard left and then goes out over here. So that's the only thing missing on the outside of this area is just the train track. And then I added some trees over here to the cabin and then the little log plank. I don't know if this is exactly where it's placed in game. I'll have to look at it again, but this is where usually you can find the axe inside of the log. And then nothing really done in here, so it's still the same thing, but I just added a little bit of trees, and then I added the pylon that's right here, but usually in game it's kind of destroyed and toppled over and is stretched to this other side. But since this is the other version of Transit, I went ahead and just put the actual pylon where it usually should go. And then nothing really done over here at town. Everything's still pretty the same. And then if we go over here, I did put some water inside the lake, but as I said before, in the next version of Transit, it'll be replaced with lava. And then we go back to here. So what I'm going to be doing for the next couple of episodes of this update series is I'm going to be fleshing out each POI. So since I've got the terrain done, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each POI, such as the bus depot, the tunnel, the diner, etc. Going through and adding all the details that they're missing right now. Now that I have the general structure and the layout of each individual POI. And then after that, it'll be just a little bit more terrain building and adding foliage and stuff like that to the outside and interior of the map. And then it should be pretty well done. I think right now, I would say I'm 85% of the way done. That's just a rough estimate, but I think this is turning out pretty well. I will pat myself on the back by saying that this is probably one of the most accurate versions of Transit that I've seen, because a lot of the times people make Transit and they kind of just miss a little bit of details and not follow what exactly like the pathways and through here. Some people just kind of take their own liberties, where I had to take just a couple, but I generally stuck to the actual layout of the map and tried to fit each individual building and landmark in its place as best I could. So I think I did a pretty good job at it. But I think this is going to be the end of the video. Hope you all enjoyed. And before I do head off, I will leave you all with me walking around the map and just kind of getting the general vibe of each area with the shader pack that I had found that I'll definitely be using once I start doing the next portion of Transit, which is going to be the original Transit. So let me go ahead and put on this texture pack, or the shader pack, and I'll just go ahead and walk around the map. And please enjoy.